So what will be your message for the average Venezuelan? I mean, you are describing a very critical situation, very dark from different point of views. So what will be the message for the average Venezuelan? What is supposed to be next for them?
My message to the average Venezuelan for the last several years has been, you are being lied to by your leadership. Demand accountability. Demand that they stand up for what they say they believe in. Demand that they stand up to the government, that they stand up to the Federal Elections Commission, and demand electoral conditions that are decent. You know, Andres, in Venezuela, in order to vote, you have to put your thumb on a thumbprint scanning machine, which is connected to a voting machine.
Yes.
In any country in the world, that would be thrown out as a violation of the secret, the right to a secret ballot. That would be thrown out as a violation of the right to free suffrage. But in Venezuela, it isn't. Does the opposition leadership make a stink of it? Do they call people out on the streets to protest? They do not. They do nothing of the sort. So my first message would be to get people to understand that the opposition leadership is lying to them and needs to be thrown out on its ass, basically. The second thing I would have to say is that in a dictatorship, a democratic opposition cannot win elections when the dictatorship controls what happens on the playing field. And I believe that we're in a period right now of post-electoral politics. I believe, and this is why I've essentially been silent for the last couple of months. I'm not writing anymore. I'm not giving interviews, although this is an exception. This is for an overseas audience, an English-speaking audience. My belief is that we are now in a period of resistance, non-violent, passive resistance, civil resistance by any possible means, hopefully non-violent, in order to break down what is in fact a very, very sophisticated dictatorial system here.
You are always in touch with foreigners, correspondents, either in or out in Venezuela. So what is the first, I wouldn't say, how do you describe Venezuela for them when the first time they arrive and they ask you about, okay, how is the situation?
Well, that's a tough question because it depends on their level of sophistication and level of understanding of how things work here. Venezuela is a very peculiar place. Your countrymen have an expression to describe Venezuela, and that is la sociedad de cómplices, which would be a culture of complicity. And what that means is that there is a tradition, a long tradition here of not just the leisure class or the nomenclature, those who are close to government, but just about everybody trying to find some way or another to live off the state, to live off of scams, to live off of deals, to do something to make money that would be, as a friend of mine said to me 30 years ago when I came here, he says, remember something, Eric, about Venezuela. Venezuelans don't like to do business. They like to do deals. And doing deals means having friends in high places, friends in low places, friends who can fix things for you. So when you do a deal that way, somebody fixes something for you, well, they have something on you. It's kind of like the mob, you know? You're a made man. You get involved, you get into doing something dirty, and somebody will know about it, and they can hold that against you later. And what ends up happening here is that a whole web of complicity and reciprocal kind of expectations of covering up and helping people develops among a certain class that's connected to the political class and connected to how money is made here off the oil income of the state. And what's particularly difficult in Venezuela is to really clean up that system. Because to an alarming degree, if not everybody, most people to some degree or another are involved in that kind of complicit system of one hand washing the other and look away, don't talk about it.
For more information, visit freevenezuela.org and make sure to tune into our weekly podcast.